This is Adrian Hyatt on absoluteradio.co.uk, and I'm not afraid to admit that I'm a little bit nervous today because I'm actually performing in front of a camera in front of Quentin Tarantino. Quentin, how am I doing?
No worries, mate, no worries.
Very good. Inglourious Basterds. 10 years or so it's been in your brain. How close is what we see on screen to the image you had back then?
That's a very good question. It's quite different, actually. I came up with the idea back in '98, right after Jackie Brown. And the thing about it was, it had the same idea behind it, of a bunch of Jewish American soldiers behind enemy lines, killing Nazis like an Apache resistance. And it had a lot of the same characters that you see in the movie now, but it followed a different storyline. And that was the reason why I didn't do it way back then, because that storyline just got too big. You know, it might have been a 12-hour miniseries, but it definitely wasn't a movie. And so I put it aside. And when I decided to come back to it in 2008, you know, I realized it was that story that was growing so large. So I took out that story and I came up with a brand new story. You know, some sequences I kept, and definitely the characters were the same, but I went and followed a different story, and that's what we have now.
Now, it's obviously 10 years in the planning, but only, what, a year or even less than a year in the actual making?
Yeah.
I mean, did you do that on purpose? Do you like keeping people on their toes like that, or?
Well, it was a combination of two things. It was like, one, I wanted to get done in time for the Cannes Film Festival. I thought that was going to be really cool. And two, I actually thought it would be an energy that would be really good for the film. You know, when directors get to be in my situation, you know, they don't make things tough on themselves. If anything, they make things easier and easier and gentler and more comfortable. And I wanted to not have a situation where I could just go, yeah, mañana. No, if we had 3 days to do a scene, it was 3 days and do it, and there's no take backs. And on the whole idea, the hope was that energy, that whatever it takes to make that happen would reflect on screen.
It's a great ensemble cast. I mean, some brilliant actors in there. But Brad Pitt probably stands out for a lot of people, and he's on the front of all the posters. Yeah. You'd wanted to work for him for a long time, and with him for a long time, and I take it you didn't even have anyone else in mind. Yeah,
no, I didn't actually. It was very interesting because, you know, we'd always wanted to work together, but there's a lot of people I'd like to work with, but it always stems from the character first. Characters always come first. So then I have to find the right person for that character, and if that person is unknown, that person is unknown. If that person has kind of fallen along the wayside, they've fallen along the wayside. Or if it's Brad Pitt, where he's the biggest star in the movies, well, then he is. Then so be it. That didn't mean I'd be able to get him though, but. That was the idea. So the thing is, I started writing the script, and about halfway through was when I first started thinking, okay, now who could play this guy, Lieutenant Aldo Raine? And I thought, well, this could be a really great part for Brad. I was very excited because we have been wanting to work together. And then I wrote a little bit more, and then I'm like, oh, Brad would be awesome in this role. And then by the time I'm closing in on the ending, I'm like, oh man, I'm screwed. It has to be Brad Pitt, or I don't know who could possibly play it. I don't have a fallback, and I almost always have a fallback. Anyway, what happened was I ended up calling up his agent, because I know him, because he's also Uma Thurman's agent, and I go, look, I'm going to be finished with the script in about 3 weeks, and I think I've got something that would be right for Brad. So basically, just give me the bad news. You know, he's busy, he's booked up for the next 3 movies in advance. I mean, and I just couldn't imagine that things would work out that well for me. And he goes, no, actually, he's not working right now. And Brad doesn't book himself up 3 movies in advance for just this very reason. He wants to be available when good material gets on the market. And so he read, so just send the script as soon as you're done. And I did. And me and Brad got together and talked about it. And that was it.
We know you have hundreds of movies in your head at any one time. Prequel, sequel to this? We've heard a lot about a prequel.
Yeah, I could do a prequel to this. I mean, you have to take almost anything I say as far as like doing sequels and prequels with a grain of salt, because I've said that about almost everything I've ever done. The one thing that could make this more of reality than the other ones is the fact that I do have half of it written. That storyline that I took out because it was too big, well, now it's not too big. Now it's not. I've told a lot of the other stories, so that could be done as a movie now. So the fact that half of it is written, and the fact that Brad and Eli all want to do it, could actually make the difference. So I guess first we have to see, one, is the movie a hit? And two, do I lose interest?
Quentin Tarantino, thanks very much for talking
My
to us
pleasure,
today.
mate.
Thank you.